Decisions, decisions, decisions. What kind of house should I buy? Let's talk about that. Hi, everyone. I'm Suzi Beaver. Welcome to Brick by Brick, Building Homeownership. Today, we're diving into a topic that's key for first-time home buyers, step-up buyers, new to the market buyers, new to the area buyers. So it's going to cover the gamut across the board for everyone. We're talking about choosing between a condo, a townhome, or a single-family residence. Today, we have with us my good friend Andrea Jones with Lifestyle International Realty.
Hey, Suzi.
Welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Andrea is one of my dearest friends, an amazing real estate agent, a woman of God, and a powerhouse. She's an extension of who I am in every aspect. When it comes to talking with our clients, educating our clients, working with our clients to make sure that their needs are met, that they're heard, that any form of conflict or adversity that they deal with, they're going to be dealt with utmost professionalism. And I don't even hesitate when it comes to referring a client to Andrea. So, Andrea, when I say this, how many years have you been in the industry?
Well, thank you for those kind words.
I love receiving calls when I refer a client to you that thank you for giving someone like Andrea to us.
I've been in the industry for 18 amazing action-packed years.
18 years.
18 years. I jumped in when everybody else was jumping out during the recession. People said I was crazy. You got to be a little crazy to do this.
Yes.
I love it.
Why do you do what you do?
Who doesn't love homes? Looking at the mansions and the different styles and trends that come up. But I love helping people. I love it when no matter who it is that comes across my desk, their name, their phone call that I get, I love it when I'm able to help someone's dream come true.
Yes.
Whether it's a first-time buyer, a downsizer, a relocator, somebody who just wants to move up, or just have a different location. They express their dreams to me. Everybody has a dream. It's just something about hearing someone tell you their dreams, walking through the process with them, and seeing it come to fruition.
I always call it your homeownership journey. It's an adventure. And it's one of those things that I say, I'm so excited to be part of your adventure with you because every adventure is unique and different.
Oh my God, it is. Everybody deserves a home. They deserve a safe place they can call home to lay their heads and live their lives as they please. Part of the American dream. I'm just happy and proud to be a part of it.
No, I think that's amazing. And what you do shines through time and time again. So we're going to go ahead and start with the basics. What defines a condo, a townhome, and a single family residence?
I'm so glad you asked me that question. So what a lot of people think are the obvious things. Single family home is detached, not attached to another building or a dwelling. They have their own yard. Townhouse and condos are attached to other units. A lot of people consider a condo as being in a high-rise with multiple units, and a townhome is being attached to another dwelling side by side. Oftentimes, those lines can be blurred and crossed. A single-family home is a single-family home. It is standing there singularly, no matter if it's on 0.10 acres or 10 acres. It's not attached to anything else. The owner owns the land the property sits on. A townhouse can be attached to another unit, but the owner is responsible for anything in that dwelling from the walls in. Sometimes the deck and a little piece of grass inside of their fence, they may be responsible for that. A lot of people think that townhomes mean when you own that, you're responsible for the roof. I'm not responsible for my roof. I live in a townhome.
I have closed a townhome before. They were responsible for the roof. It seemed odd to have different roofs, and I'm sure they have with the HOA certain codes that they have to match, but they were responsible for the roof if anything did happen. So it can vary.
Right. And then your condos, now those are like apartments, right? But you own it, and you're responsible for the inside. You're not responsible for just the firewall, but from the wallpaper in. Okay? Anything inside that home, it's on you. Anything on the outside is on them. Them being the HOA, the Homeowners Association. So there's also a difference in the insurance. All buyers need to know what kind of insurance policy they need. Single family homes and some townhomes require an HO3 policy because that owner is responsible for everything. And then condos and some townhomes require an HO6 policy. So make sure and read your homeowners association bylaws or CCRs, which are covenants and restrictions.
Earlier, we were talking about the perks of owning a single family residence, of what comes with it, the land, the land, and just having the ownership of something. We were talking about how it just makes it a little bit different just to know that you own actually the land underneath your home too, not just the house itself.
Absolutely.
Is that different with a condo and a townhome?
So for the single family home, you actually own the land that your home sits on. We have to disclose in the mineral oil and gas rights disclosure whether or not the mineral oil and gas rights have been severed from the land. In a townhome, now, some townhomes have no grass, some of them do, some of them have fences, and you just need to see, again, what the Homeowners Association is offering, what the community offers, and that's why a good tour when you buy a home is going to help you to decide, well, what is your lifestyle? Do you want grass? Do you want to have to maintain grass? Do you not like snakes? I don't know. And so for condo living, you don't have any yard, unless you have one of those patio homes that might be considered to be a condo that is a flat home. But condos can be in buildings, high rises, or units in the uptown area. And you can walk out your front door and be at the pub down the street, or in one of these other communities that is not located downtown or uptown, that's in the live work community where you have a business on the bottom floor.
Yeah.
And then condos above it.
In your opinion, Andrea, what are the biggest pros and cons between a townhome, a condo, and a single-family residence?
Owning any of those properties is a pro. Home ownership is a pro.
That's huge.
Okay. Now, I know we're in a little interesting market right now, but owning a home is going to allow you to build equity and have tax write-offs that renting just won't.
Yeah.
There's this little thing going around talking about it's better to rent a home, especially in this market. I don't see how paying somebody else's mortgage and helping them to build equity in their home is going to benefit you as the occupant. When you're in that home and you're paying that rent and you decide you want to pick up and leave somewhere, okay, yeah, you don't have to worry about showings like a homeowner would. But when you leave, all you're going to get is the deposit if the landlord determines you haven't damaged the property. It's your word against theirs, right?
Exactly. When you own a home, you're building your net worth. Every penny you pay towards,
you're paying towards owning it. And then when you own that home, you can do anything you want inside of it, because the whole point is you bettering the home, making it custom to your desire, to your lifestyle. And when you leave, you may have improved the home to the point where the value may have increased for you into your pocket, not someone else's.
That is huge.
Homeownership is the pro for me. I'm still team homeownership.
Oh, we have a program here called Simplify. We want you to marry your house and date your rate. We want you to buy your house in today's market, because the truth is, when interest rates start to come down, housing prices are going to go up. We created Simplify. You're buying your house today, and anytime within the next 3 years, we're going to refinance you with no mortgage fees. So you're getting the best of both worlds and being able to work towards something in this market, not having to wait for a better rate to buy. So.
Absolutely. Again, homeownership is a pro to me, right? Let's just look at your lifestyle. Okay. What is going to be the best fit for you?
That's a good way to look at it. I love that. Because, I mean, everyone does have different lifestyles for where they're at. I just talked to a gentleman who said, I have no kids, no wife. I love riding my bike, and I do not want to mow a lawn. He would be perfect for a condo.
Condo or townhouse. If you travel a lot, having a home, a single-family home, the benefit of that, HOA dues, sometimes, depending on the community that you're in, can be lower than a townhouse or a condo community, right?
Yes.
Considerably lower.
Yes.
So then all you need to pay for lawn maintenance and pressure washing your house to keep it updated. Now, the other thing is that when you're in a townhome or a condo, you have the homeowners association who's going to maintain the outside of the home. They're going to maintain all the common areas, which means you may have a pool, you may have a common area in terms of walking around, dog park, or things like that. That can also be the case in a single family community. When you're looking at those things, pros and cons, what's your lifestyle, you decide whether you want to travel and just come home every now and again, just basically lay there, in your house, watch TV. When you get ready to go somewhere, you don't have any maintenance, you have a busy lifestyle, you don't have time to go outside and trim the hedges, cut the grass, paint outside or anything like that. But if you are one that loves to get your hands in the soil, then maybe you do need a little bit of yard, and you can get you a single family home and enjoy that lifestyle as well, and not have to worry about having neighbors attached to you or above you or beneath you who may hear you moving around or you hear them moving around. Single family homes tend to move quicker.
Okay.
But there are other options, especially in today's market. You have Airbnb, vacation home, Verbo. You have the option of renting a home. We did just say that, buying and owning is better than renting, but there is always going to be a rental market.
That's right.
So why don't you be the buyer or the owner on the other side of owning that property?
Exactly.
And you collect the rent and you build equity.
We were talking about that on one of our podcasts. When you're renting, you don't own that. There's a myth that they have to be in that home for the entire duration of the mortgage. No, you don't. This is your starter home. It's a place where you start, not finish. In 9 times out of 10, most people refinance their mortgage within 3 to 5 years anyway, or sell their home within 5 to 7 years. We just want you to buy because now you own it. You're beginning to build your net worth. That net worth for your first home is going to be one of 2 ways when you're ready to go to your next home. It'll either be turned to a rental property in which you, the landlord, having someone pay your mortgage for you, like what you were doing when you were renting, or you're going to go ahead and sell that home and use the capital that you received as the down payment for the next home. It's always building blocks, but you have to start somewhere.
You have to start somewhere. Homeownership is a way to create wealth. We always say every 5 to 7 years, someone's going to be selling their home. How can they use the home they're in to accomplish wealth building?
Yeah, that's what it is. There's nothing in this entire economy proven year after year, even in bad times and values are low, you're still winning.
Build equity in it. No matter what the interest rates are doing, they're still able to sell it for more than what they purchased it for.
I just love how you're empowering folks. Thank God for options. Okay, Andrea, next question. How should a buyer budget for this type of home property?
Whenever I meet with a buyer, whether you have referred them to me or I'm working with a buyer who has said, I don't know where to start. What do I do now? And that question, Suzi, is common. That comes from buyers who are first-time buyers, and it comes from buyers who have been in their home for 10, 15, 20 years, and they're like, okay, I'm seeing all this stuff on the news. What do I do now? After I have had a thorough conversation with my buyer to find out what their goals are, what their fears are, what their concerns are, what their dreams are, and how we can make it happen, how we can make it possible, right? First place any buyer is going to start is with the lender. We need to know how much they can afford.
Absolutely.
I tell my buyers, that lender can come back and say, you're approved for $2 million. But if you tell me all you want to spend is $600,000, that's where we stop. The parameters are set when they tell us this is what my goal is. Then the market's going to say whether or not that's possible. So what I mean by that is that a lot of times a buyer will come and say, I don't want to spend more than $450. And they look around and they see, because nowadays $450 is a little bit over affordable housing prices. Yes. Affordable housing prices have skyrocketed. The $100,000 and $200,000 homes that used to be good to start up don't exist anymore. So when they look and see, well, I thought $450 would buy this for me, and I really think I should do something else, then we go back to the lender and see if that wiggle room is there for them to increase so they can get what they like, or do they need to buy something they can work on?
Exactly.
And make it what they want. So the first place to start is with a lender who listens and knows this is where Suzi, you and I have had the clients who have looked at a home and they say, you know what, I saw this townhome. I know I was looking at single family, but this townhome has everything I need.
Yes.
That townhome's HOA was $500 a month.
Yes.
Or $300 a month, or even $50 a month. And their pre-qualification for, let's say I'm going to pull a number out of the air, $450.
Yep.
No longer qualifies them. They're now out of the market because those HOAs took them out of being able to afford a home at $450. So as a buyer is looking for something, that's one of the things they need to take into consideration. The mortgage, principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, but HOAs. The mortgage is not just the mortgage payment, it's the taxes, insurance, and HOAs. You can get foreclosed on for all of those things. Let's talk to the lender and find out where you need to be, and you tell me where you want to be.
Exactly.
And
And I
then,
think that's so smart. I mean, you've made great points just in this segment here, is just talking about how it's important to start with the lender first. We've done an episode on why it's important to get pre-qualified before you even start to look at a home.
absolutely. I do want to add that what people can take into consideration is a lot of time homeowners associations are lower for single family homes. If they have a homeowners association at all, a lot of times you will find a single family home community that has no HOAs, or a single family home that has no HOAs.
Yes.
Now the rare thing is coming up where you might find a duplex or what is considered a townhome to not have HOAs. More likely than not, townhomes and condos are going to have HOA dues. Now, you're going to find that sometimes your parking is in addition to the HOA dues.
Oh, wow. You're
Especially if
kidding.
you're in the uptown area. If you're in a parking garage, you have so many additional fees. So there's a lot to take into consideration when you're deciding what you'd like to purchase.
We literally just talked about this just to educate people to pay attention to hidden fees. It's important when you go through not getting pre-approved, not understanding your mortgage payment is consisting of your principal, interest, property taxes, homeowners insurance, HOA, mortgage insurance, parking fees. All of that has to be included in that payment because there are costs to upkeep what you're buying. All those can be foreclosed upon. Why set yourself up for failure or to, again, see something that you like and are so disappointed just because you can't have it? You don't qualify for that. Oh, I cannot stress the importance. And I'm just so grateful that, again, great minds think alike, and why we work so well together, because we come at it with the same philosophy. We're looking for them to succeed in the end and have exactly what they're wanting. But if we don't start with the pre-approval, that can go haywire so quick. It can take a beautiful experience and make it something that's hard and difficult and frustrating to the point where they just want to stop in some cases. And why should you be that way just because you didn't start it out right?
Absolutely. It's so important for buyers to know everybody doesn't take the same time or the same care and consideration in their process. We're here to help them find a way to make this work. And then if what their dream is different from what the reality says that they can do, we're finding a way to make that work and help them to see that they're empowered through this purchase anyway. It's a building block, brick by brick, right? Okay, I did that, right? So,
yes, you did.
but it's really important for anyone. I've worked with buyers in all different price points. And I'm not touching on sellers too much because sellers do have an important role to play and they have a certain amount of education that they need as well. But it's so important for buyers to sit down with an expert. Yes. The internet is great. ChatGPT is great.
Yes.
And they give good information, right?
Yes.
But they're not in the field. We are. We have our ears to the ground, our boots on the ground, so to speak.
Yes.
And we're out there working in these situations, and we come across situations quicker than it can be reported on the internet. We know how to apply it. Those systems, while they empower buyers and sellers, they don't have application.
That's right.
We're applying it every single day in so many different ways. When I interview my buyers and find out what's important to them, I ask them to speak with their lender if they bring their own. I just want to make sure we're on the same page.
That communication has to be there all the way around. I always laugh and say, I like for it to come from the horse's mouth, and I am said horse. What I might tell you as the buyer's representative, the listing agent may have heard it differently. I want them to hear exactly what I've told you. This is where we're at. This is what we're dealing with. This is what we're going to need to have. And it comes from me. It's a responsibility I own. I'm responsible for getting us to that closing table. We all have to be there together. One of the biggest things that I always say, as long as we have constant communication and that communication is clear and everybody knows everything that's going on the entire way, that's when everyone's stress levels are going to be at their lowest and I want people to enjoy buying their home, not be stressed for 30 to 45 days. There are things that come up, but it should never be anything that it's like a drop off on that roller coaster. When we communicate and all parties are communicating together, everything is as seamless as it can be, and it's enjoyable. This is a happy time, and it should be a happy time, especially once we go under contract.
That's why I tell my clients, listen, the realtor, your realtor, and the lender, we're your best friends. There's nothing you can't tell us. You should tell us everything.
That's right.
And I know a whole lot of heads cracked just now when I said that, because there is this myth out there that you can't tell us too much. You can't trust us. We're going to take what you tell us and try to put you in the most expensive house or make you qualify for something different. It doesn't matter. We want a win-win for you. But that thing that you're afraid of and that you decide to not tell us can be the difference between you qualifying or not. It could be the difference between a seamless, smooth, happy transaction and a chaotic one. Tell us everything. The information that you use with us will not be held against you. It
No,
won't be used
not
against
at
you.
all.
It's going to be used to help you. And that's what I tell all my buyers, actually. You could tell me everything. Don't hold anything back.
Communication is key, and no question is a stupid question.
Yes.
If you don't know the answer and it's something that's bothering you, I want to be able to resolve that for you.
And you can. You have the information to do that and do it accurately. I have to trust a professional across from me, don't I?
Yeah, you do. No question is a stupid question. As a lender, that means something to me. I want someone to succeed. One thing I always tell people, just because you can afford it doesn't mean you should afford it. You know, most people don't, especially when I have young families come in or those that are just getting married. I'll even ask them, what does 5 years look like for y'all? Does that include kids? If you do have children, have you talked about, is one of you going to stay home with the kids? Are we going to need another car, a bigger car? These are important questions that may not be relevant right now when we're buying our first home. But you're already embarking on a journey that brings significant life alterations and changes. We should acknowledge those, whether they're in the picture today or not, and get people to think about those things. Just because someone can afford a $5,000 mortgage, I'd hate for someone to get into a home just because they could and be house poor. Their entire life revolves around the house because they can't afford to live. They can't afford to enjoy things like a concert, vacation, or take a couple hours off to go to your kids' ballet performance or something, because everything that you do is only to pay for this house. I'm not a believer in that. And so I meet people where they're at.
Yeah.
What are you going to be doing in the next 5 years?
That is rare for a lender, and I love that. Where you lay your head should be where you rest peacefully. You should not have stress where you lay your head. That's your castle. The last thing you want to have is buyer's remorse. And again, that is why it's so important to start with the lender.
So while we're wrapping up to a close here, is there any additional tips for navigating this decision?
When deciding between a townhouse, single family, or condo, you want to always remember to check the HOAs in your bylaws. It's going to tell you what type of insurance you need. And then call your insurance company and get a quote for that insurance, because insurance quotes can also make the difference between whether you qualify or not. And remember, buying a home, while it's rewarding, you build equity, you have tax write-offs, you also need to understand that buying a home is so different than renting. Whereas when renting, you can contact the landlord or property management company, and they'll send out a maintenance guy when there's a plumbing issue or whatever issue you have in your home. When you own any property, it's going to be you who picks up that wrench and that hammer and nail that nail into whatever is broken or needs to be fixed. Or it's going to be you who calls and makes the phone call to the contractor or whoever it is that's going to change the things in the home that you need to be changed or repaired. Understand what the difference is between renting and home ownership. You might be crafty and able to rearrange furniture in your rental, but when you're at your home, you're rearranging it, you're building it, you're maintaining it, you're repairing it, or you are paying for that.
Yes.
So that's important to take into consideration. And again, read the HOA guidelines, the bylaws, know what the community has to offer. A lot of people are looking at amenities, and they think they can get more amenities in like a condo as opposed to a single family home or a townhome. But a lot of the amenities are the same. You can go into some single family communities that have tennis courts, they have swimming pools. Some are in uptown or downtown, more metropolitan areas where you can walk outside and enjoy entertainment, restaurants, and things like that.
Funny how you talk about that, a walkable community. That was never a term I'd heard of before. When I was in California, behind the Albertsons grocery store out there, this huge field that just had cows in it and a beautiful pond. I remember meeting a gentleman out there who was a developer developer who was looking to purchase this land to make it a walkable community. And I'm like, what is a walkable community? And he was literally sharing with me how the way he described it was just everyone has a front porch with rocking chairs on it, and you would have sidewalks to walk down and the kids play. And those are like where the single family development house of the development is. And then you would have also apartments, and you would have condos or townhomes. And sometimes the condos would have businesses below that would have like eateries, bakeries, coffee shops, or trinket stores to do within the community. Where did you come up with this idea? And he's like, oh, Charlotte, North Carolina. And then look at where I'm at. God has a funny way of working things out.
But it's so funny that you mentioned that. I really, because I know you're from California, I did not know that the part of California you lived in didn't have that. I always thought California was big and had this walkability element, but when I was in new homes, clients from the Northeast, they would say, I love Charlotte, it's nice, but I can't walk around like I want to. I got a car, drive places, but what if I want to go to the grocery store? It's just 5 minutes down the street is what I'm thinking.
Yes.
But now that we have done a great job in Charlotte of just merging the northern and other elements of some other communities into the southern element, right? We maintain the southern charm by still allowing the walkability features. Or we have all these different things to offer. I just love how I can walk outside of my front door because I now live in a walkable
Community.
I can go to the grocery store, walk the greenway, walk around my neighborhood, walk across the street, grab a bite to eat, go to the drugstore, whatever I want to do, and still go into my home and have peace and quiet. I think that's an exciting feature, and I know that we're attracting more people here because of that. I mean, it's just so much we have to do in Charlotte that we have to offer, and I'm just glad about that. But getting back to what I would tell any buyer, find a great realtor. I would be happy to help you. Find a great lender. And make sure you know what you're getting into. And that's what we're here for.
Absolutely love that. Where can we find you?
So I'm licensed in North Carolina and South Carolina. And the network that I have is huge. You can buy a home anywhere. I've helped people buy vacation homes on the coast. I've helped people buy homes in North and South Carolina within my regular area. My referral network will allow me to help people to buy homes like in New York or Texas or Georgia, wherever they want to buy. I'm also working on my certification to sell homes in Ghana. So I'll be able to sell homes in the continent of Africa. Okay,
Oh, that's amazing.
And our firm has communities in the Dominican Republic. There's absolutely nowhere that you would want to buy a home that I can't help you. So don't think that just because I'm licensed in North Carolina and South Carolina that I can't help you.
The same goes here too. We're a national company at Castle and Cook Mortgage. I might not be able to help someone in, say, California, but I have colleagues who can. It's amazing to know we have trusted people we work together with that are our peers and colleagues that we can entrust our clients with. Speaking about Africa, I have a client that actually they lived in the Congo and he still lived and worked there. He brought his family to the United States for something more. I thought, how are we going to do this? Because literally every shred of documentation he gave was in a completely different language.
Oh, wow.
To me, that wasn't the wall. It was a barrier. How do we get past the barrier? It could be knocked down. So I went to underwriting and said, hey, all these documents are in French. What can we do here? And they said, they'll need to be translated. So I actually put in Google Translator. So I started with one of the documents and I translated every word from French to English. And I sent it to underwriting under Google Translator with the URL. And I said, will this work? And they said, sure enough. So we were able to close on their home. I mean, it was amazing to know that it was like, there's no barriers, especially when you have the Lord guiding your steps first and foremost. You know all the information and you're not afraid to ask the question. I'm a firm believer. The answer is automatically no unless you ask.
You ask, and that is what I mean by solution is.
Yes.
I love that story because you found a way to make it. You didn't give up on it or
No.
just slide it to somebody else or just say, I'm sorry, I can't help you. This is where I get off. But no, I love it.
I accept challenge. It's a barrier. It's not a wall. We can overcome barriers.
Absolutely.
Absolutely love that. And again, I wanted to ask you, where can we find you?
I have a website. You can find me on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn.
Perfect. Okay.
Okay, and all of that'll be.
We're going to list every part of that below in the comments below for you so that people will be able to find you there and all of the information to be able to contact you there. And they can always reach out to us here at Brick by Brick to be able to give them that information as well too. So you know me, I always love to end with some scripture because I believe everything we do is preordained and the Lord guides our steps. I've asked Andrea today what scripture the Lord put on her heart. So would you please share with us that?
Sure. So I think this is very timely and right in alignment with what we've been talking about.
Absolutely.
Luke 14:28. For which one of you, when he wants to build a tower, does not first sit down and calculate the cost to see if he has enough to complete it?
Amen.
He or she who is deciding to build a home, buy a home, and venture into real estate, whatever it is, whatever endeavor you're embarking upon, getting married, relocating, what school you're going to choose, what job you're going to go after, and especially what home you're going to buy and whether to even buy a home.
Yes.
Count up the costs to make sure that when you go into it, you've made sure there are no surprises.
Yes. Amen. Could not have said it any better. And honestly, when we follow what the Lord has for us, we succeed in so many ways. Thank you for sharing what God put on your heart today.
Thank you.
I just love the fact that we share the same principle that everyone has the right to own a home and that we are blessed to be able to be the ones to help them to get there.
Oh, absolutely. I really do think that our industry is a ministry of sorts.
It is.
And what we do, helping people to find shelter. We have so many stories and experiences of the different types of beautiful people that we have helped along the way. I'm honored to be doing this with you, my friend. I'm honored God has allowed us to experience this ministry together.
Thank you for being here and just sharing your expertise, heart, and passion that shines through. And I hear it from my clients time and time and time again. So thank you for that.
Thank you so much, Susie. I really appreciate you.
Okay, everyone, we've talked about some amazing options out there available for homeownership. If this is something that you find yourself ready to move forward, reach out because we'll meet you here on this side. Remember, start with your pre-approval and then we'll get you shopping. Be sure to like and subscribe. And remember, you can find our contact information as well as Andrea Jones, our guest today, with Lifestyle International Realty. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Brick by Brick, Building Homeownership. See you soon. Bye.
Bye.